I thought Nico actually did a decent job with the Mavs until he didn't. Like, for a guy who didn't believe in Luka Doncic, he did know how to build around him. He basically invented the Luka Doncic team construct that we all think about today, right? Athletic centers that he can hit for lobs in a 4-out, 1-in spacing concept. A secondary ball handler that can roughly approximate his style, that doesn't necessarily need to be a superstar, but that can kind of fit into the same sort of 4-out, 1-in ISO pick and roll, make the decisions, make the shots type of system. And then surround him with athleticism and guys that can knock down open catch and shoot threes, drive closeouts, basically athletic 3-and-D guys. And I mean, come on, they won 5 playoff series over the previous 3 seasons of the Luka era before the trade. That's not all bad. But ultimately, he just galaxy brained himself out of the perfect situation. To be clear, I'm not in any way justifying the trade. It's the dumbest trade in NBA history. There's absolutely no excuse for it. But I can at least see the genesis of where his brain started to go. Luka was clearly leaving a lot of meat on the bone with his potential. As crazy as that sounds with how good he was through the first 5-6 years of his career, he wasn't taking care of his body. He was playing at a weight that was affecting his performance negatively. He was starting to succumb to nagging injuries that even began in the 2024 season as he was banged up with his knee throughout that playoff run. And he looked like he hadn't learned his lesson. And he kind of hit rock bottom last year, right? Like, even after the Lakers trade, he was soundly outplayed by Anthony Edwards in that first round playoff series. But the crucial flaw in Nico's logic, and I can't even believe this needs to be explained, but he failed to realize that Luka was inevitably going to figure it out at some point. He failed to account for Luka's best trait, which is his alpha dog competitiveness. If he was fat and lazy, and if he was losing ground against his peers, it would inevitably over time lead to disappointing losses. Those disappointing losses would inevitably lead to Luka getting pissed off. And if he got pissed off, he would finally, eventually look in the mirror, take accountability, and make the changes he need to make to become the best version of himself. And by the way, he was obviously very close to reaching that point. He got his butt kicked by Ant and the Wolves. He changed last summer. Now he's averaging 37, 9, and 9 on 63% true shooting for an 8-3 team in the West, despite them being pretty light on talent with the LeBron James injury and the other injuries they've dealt with this year. He's looking like the best player in the world, or at least in the conversation. Nico essentially committed the unforgivable sin. He took a franchise that was legitimately a perennial championship contender on the strength of a transcendently great star that was just barely entering his prime, and he chopped it off at the knees. And he should be incredibly thankful that the Mavs won the lottery and that Mavs fans at least have the tiny glimmer of hope that is Cooper Flagg, who, by the way, had an amazing night last night against Giannis and the Bucks. Because otherwise, this team would be in the dark ages for years to come. Now, Mavs fans, it's not over. You have a terribly unbalanced roster, but you have Cooper Flagg, a player that I truly believe in. And you do have the assets to quickly pivot into an advanced stage of a rebuild. But the bottom line is you should never have had to make that pivot to begin with. You should be contending for the title out west right now. And you're not, because Nico outsmarted himself and made the dumbest trade in NBA history. I'm sorry that happened to you guys, but I'm sure you're all very happy to see Nico finally gone from the organization.